Hello everyone, hope you're having a wonderful day. Before we get started, I just want to say thank you to all 29,124 subscribers at the time of recording this. You guys have been really awesome and I really appreciate you guys helping grow my community. It's been a lot of fun making videos for you guys, and this number is just kind of just growing much faster. I promised I would do a Q&A at 10,000 subscribers. It's taking me a little bit longer than I expected to, but I did get one of my friends to record your guys' questions, so it's not just having to listen to me for the whole video. Hope you guys enjoy, and we'll get straight into the questions.
First question, if you were to own and fly a jet, what would it be?
I'm going to have to go with the F5 Freedom Fighter. I've always really liked the design. It's one of my top 10 favorite jet aircraft. They're also relatively easy to fly, and realistically, it would probably actually end up being a T-38 Talon, which is a two-seat trainer version, and those are still in service with the American Air Force still, even after 60 years of service. They're easy to fly, like I said. I think they're just really great aircraft, and two engines is a lot better than one, so if there's some kind of mechanical problem with it, there's a good chance I could still probably make an emergency landing on one engine. I've never actually flown anything. I'm not actually a pilot, so I don't really know too much about it, but that would definitely be one of my first picks, would be the F5 Freedom Fighter.
Are you more of a cat person or a dog person?
Definitely a cat person. I've got nothing against dogs. I've owned both, but if I had to pick one, I'm going with cats.
Among Us or Lethal Company?
I'm going to have to go with Lethal Company. I only have about 3 hours in Among Us, but 95% of that was trying to fix it and get it to work. I was having lots of bug problems, and even once I got it working, I really didn't enjoy it as much as I thought I would. I had lots of fun playing with my friends, but the gameplay itself just wasn't really my style. And Lethal Company, at least from what I've seen, it looks like it's a lot of fun.
When did you first choose the name Captain Mark? Was it based on the games you've played, or is there another story behind it?
I first picked the name probably around late elementary school, early middle school, and the reason that I came up with the name was I used to use Eagle Eyes for a lot of my stuff, specifically like mobile games and stuff. That was like my Game Center username. And when Battle Nations got its desktop version, I needed a new account for that because it wasn't transferring the account. So I just decided to go with Captain Mark. I don't know why I picked that, but I just thought it sounded cool. And what really ended up solidifying it as my username was for Minecraft, because Eagle Eyes was already taken. So when I was making my account for Minecraft, I needed to come up with something else, and that was the next choice I went with because I was already using it for other things. So nothing really too special, it's just kind of where that came from, and I've been using it ever since, or some slight variations of it depending on what I need to for games. But surprisingly, it's not that common of a nickname. I've only probably had to use something else a couple of times, and most of the time it's just adding on like a number or two to the end, or doing underscores or something like that. It's not really that common of a name, which kind of surprised me.
Do you have any plans to collab with other War Thunder and Enlisted YouTubers?
It's definitely something I'm open to. I think at the moment I'm still too small of a YouTube channel to have been noticed by some of the other War Thunder and Enlisted YouTubers. But if you are one of those other channels, feel free to reach out to me. I have a business email linked on the homepage of my channel, and leaving a comment on any of my videos is also a pretty good way of getting a hold of me. I read every single comment, so I'll definitely see that. And I know a lot of you guys have suggestions on who I should do collaborations with, and I've been seeing your comments. Can't make any promises, but I will see what I can do.
Since you're an engineer, which game do you think most realistically models flight dynamics? War Thunder, Ace Combat, Enlisted, or...
Well, I see somebody read my channel bio. Actually, the one I'm going to say is probably the most realistic isn't even one of the ones that you suggested, and that's DCS. Probably followed pretty closely by IL-2 series of games. At the bottom of the list, I'm going to probably have to put Ace Combat, mostly because it's an arcade game and it's not really trying to be realistic at all. It doesn't mean that it's not fun. It's not realistic with its flight models, and everything is kind of meant to be balanced against each other. So you don't really get some of the pros and cons with different aircraft. They all kind of fly the same. The next lowest one's probably Enlisted. I really enjoy the combat in Enlisted, but you do have a lot of situations where it just doesn't seem like the planes fly very well. And unfortunately, most of the players also just aren't very good at air-to-air combat, which kind of limits my enjoyment of it. But it's definitely not the most realistic. It kind of feels just off in some way. The planes kind of feel a little bit floaty, and I think it does a good job of portraying how difficult it is to spot ground targets, which I actually really enjoy. So I do enjoy taking planes a lot in Enlisted. It's just probably not a very realistic flight model. And War Thunders, it's somewhere in the middle. They've done a lot of work over the years in making it more realistic. They even model stuff like denser air at lower altitude compared to higher altitude, which is something that DCS does as well. Supposedly, that's also part of their flight models, especially for missiles and stuff, where they actually will take that into account. I don't really know how true that is, but I know definitely there's a difference in how well aircraft perform engine-wise, and even just the aerodynamics of it are supposed to change at different altitudes. So it's definitely in the middle. It's not as high-end as something as DCS, where all those planes are kind of handcrafted, and that's why there's only a small variety of aircraft available in it. War Thunder, there's hundreds and hundreds of planes and tanks and stuff, so there's not enough time for them to go and really finely detail every single flight model. So I'm going to put that as probably a close third place, but it's definitely in the middle.
What kind of engineer are you?
I graduated last year as a mechanical engineer. I'm currently working full-time as a manufacturing engineer, and I'm working on getting my master's as a manufacturing engineer.
Do you have any interest in science fiction?
I could probably talk for hours about science fiction. Whether it's reading books or watching movies or TV shows, all of it just kind of appeals to me. I really enjoy Star Trek. Star Trek Enterprise is my favorite. Really big Star Wars fan. I enjoy Battlestar Galactica and Babylon 5. And I really haven't watched it, but it is on my to-do list, but Stargate is also pretty cool.
What editing software do you use?
I use Microsoft Clipchamp. I know it's not the most professional editing software, but it's free and it gets the job done. And for the most part, I haven't really had any issues with it. I push the limits on it a little bit with my Sea of Thieves videos, but for everything else, it's really easy to use, really intuitive, and just gets the job done.
What are some of your hobbies?
I'll start with painting and building model kits, whether those are airplane ones from the store, some Star Trek ones that I've done, 3D printing some stuff and painting them, or even ones for Warhammer 40k. I've just always really enjoyed model kits, and I've grown up doing them. And also playing board games. I've grew up playing Axis and Allies, Battletech, Warhammer 40k, and a bunch of others, mostly with my dad and my brother, but with a lot of my friends also. And they've always had just a soft spot for me. I enjoy, and this is going to sound weird for a YouTuber, but I enjoy being outside and going hiking and camping and stuff. I was an Eagle Scout, so I know my way around doing that kind of stuff. I enjoy sailing as well and just being out on the ocean. I also just enjoy reading a lot. So there's a lot of books and stuff like that. Mostly science fiction, but also fantasy and just even historical fiction as well. And kind of everything. And if you guys couldn't tell, I really enjoy history and will study that a lot and know a lot about history. And if you guys are interested in seeing more stuff that's like history related instead of just like video game gameplay and stuff, let me know. I might try doing some of that at some point and kind of sharing some of my knowledge that I've learned over the years.
Can you sing?
No. And trust me, you don't want to hear that anyway. The only time that I even sing is at church, and that is with everybody else singing at the same time, so you won't actually hear me individually singing, which is a good thing.
Are you planning to branch out to different games? Do you have guests / do collabs with friends?
I am. And while this has mostly been a War Thunder and Enlisted focused channel, and it will continue to remain so don't really worry about that, there's a lot of other games that I do play that I do enjoy, and I just don't really make content for, but I can in the future, and I kind of plan on doing it. I play a lot of real-time and turn-based strategy games, so those can make an appearance. And I also have ideas about maybe doing like board game battle report kind of style things, which would be kind of fun. So if you guys are interested, let me know. And there's other games like Titanfall that I play a lot and I really enjoy. I know you guys have been asking a lot about Lethal Company. And as for having guests and doing collabs with friends, definitely that is on the table. Since you've left that comment, I've been doing some more stuff with like Sea of Thieves, and those have been a couple good videos so far, and those are continue to come out. So I have been starting to play with friends more. I think one of my earliest videos also had one of my friends. So it's gonna happen. It's taking me a little bit to figure out what I'm doing with the channel and how I want to structure it. And my friends are a big part of my life, so I would definitely like to have them included more in my videos.
How different does it feel making videos versus your history of live streaming?
I find that they're pretty different, and I think making YouTube videos is a lot more effort and a lot more time consuming and more difficult than live streaming. With live streaming, it was very low effort and low production value when I was doing it. I would just kind of pop on stream whenever my friends and I were playing different games, and it would just kind of be on in the background and I'd interact with chat. But with making YouTube videos, I find I need to put a lot more effort into making a more refined and finished product for you guys. And a lot of that also comes down to the fact that YouTube videos are going to be around for a very long time. And let's say I make a guide video like I've done a few in the past. That may have a benefit to somebody a couple years from now. And I want to make sure that if I'm having a video there, it's going to actually be useful and accurate as possible. There's also a lot more effort that needs to be put into making sure that there's not very many mistakes and that the content is entertaining, because there's people that'll click off the video. If I have very boring stuff for like the first 30 seconds to a minute into the video, no one's really going to want to stick around for the rest of the video. So there's a lot more effort on me to just try to structure my videos differently and make it into something that people actually want to watch. Whereas with live streaming, it was just on and people kind of pop in and pop out as much as they wanted to. There's also much more of a delay with comments on YouTube compared to with Twitch. With Twitch, people could ask questions and I would answer them, and there was a lot more back and forth kind of dialogue happening. But with YouTube, it's just people leaving a comment in a comment section on my videos, and I don't have as much of an opportunity to respond to those. I read everybody's comments, but responding to them, even if I respond, there's no guarantee that they'll actually see the response that I had. And YouTube also tends to hide people's comments a lot, which is very frustrating. I have to switch my view order to newest instead of most popular, and then I'll see everybody's comments, which is really weird. I don't know why it's like that. I've tried everything I can to make it open for people to comment on, and it still hides them. So it is different. There's pros and cons to both. I will eventually start streaming again once I figure out how to do that with OBS. I haven't tried it yet. So they're very different. I've enjoyed making videos a lot, and it's more effort, but it also feels a little bit more rewarding.
Will you do an Ace Combat 7 playthrough?
That's an excellent idea, and yes, I will. The way I'm planning on doing that, because I have already beaten the game multiple times, the latest one being on Ace difficulty and every mission being S rank, I'm going to make it a vote system where you guys can vote for what plane you guys want me to fly on a given mission. So before each mission, before I make the video for it, I will release a poll that'll have some choices of aircraft for you guys to vote on, and whatever has the highest number of votes, or if it's something you guys put in the comments on that one, whatever has the highest number of comments, I will end up flying that mission. So if you guys decide you want to send me in an A-10 on an air superiority mission for some reason, that's what I'll do. I think that'll be kind of a fun way to change up how I play the game. I also haven't played the DLC missions yet. I have all the DLC planes and all the DLCs, but I haven't actually done the DLC missions yet. So I'll do it in chronological order, where it's like the first 7 or 10 missions, and then the 3 DLC missions, and then the rest of the campaign. So yeah, I think that's what I'll do. It'll be kind of fun. and I'll make the poll soon of what plane to do first for the first mission.
Do you watch Daebom's content?
No, and based on the thumbnails from his videos, I really don't think I'm missing out on that much. I know a lot of you guys do, at least if the analytics are accurate. For a long time, most of the videos that were recommending my channel were from his videos. But that's actually been replaced now by Sheriff Rory's channel. Most of you seem to be coming from her content now. And for those of you who don't know who that is, you guys should definitely go check out her channel. She does a lot of awesome stuff. And go and subscribe to her.
What is your connection to the Hungarian roundel that you use on your channel?
There's a lot. So the first one is I am Hungarian, and my grandfather was in the Hungarian Royal Army during World War II, and he was at the Battle of Stalingrad. So that's one of the connections I have. Another one is when I first started playing War Thunder, it was one of the first decals that I ended up unlocking, and especially back when I was like in middle school, I just said it'd be cool if I just put it on everything. And as I got older, I started making it more of a like identifying mark on my vehicles. And after that, I end up making like some like other stuff and just incorporating it more into a lot of other designs that I have. Some like ceramic stuff that I've made and other artwork and stuff. So it just has become a symbol that I associate a lot with and just has some special meaning to me. And there's just some historical and family ties to it as well.
If you were stranded on a desert island and could only bring one War Thunder squad with you, which would you choose?
I'm going to assume that you meant Enlisted, but just in case I'm wrong, I'm going to answer it both ways. For Enlisted, I would pick the 821st Special Purpose Division 2nd Engineer Support Regiment. And the reason I'm picking this is it's an engineer squad with a very unique engineer in it who is able to carry a machine gun instead of his normal just bolt action rifle. He looks really cool, and the squad itself specializes in doing mine clearance and installing explosive devices and constructing temporary fortifications and river crossings. So they should have a lot of the necessary skills to survive on a desert island and formulate a way to get off of there. As for War Thunder, I'm going to assume that you meant some kind of vehicle. And I would probably go with something like one of the many Harrier variants, maybe the AVA. And the cool thing about Harriers is they are one of the few aircraft, and it's the only aircraft really that's Western and has a proper way of doing this, where it can take off vertically. It has little nozzles on the side of the plane that divert its normal thrust into vertical thrust. And it can take off with little to no runway at all and just take off vertically and land vertically. Which would let me just get off of a desert island without too much effort. And that brings us to the end of the questions. Hopefully I got everybody's. And before I go, I just want to say thank you again to y'all for just making this possible. We're sitting at just over 30,000 subscribers now, and it's just been a really great journey. I did not expect to go this far, this fast, and it's been a lot of fun. And I'll see you guys in the next video.